Hey guys, Dan with Create Minis here, and this week I'm going to start painting up a core set, starting with Luke Skywalker. Coming from the core set, I don't have some fancy box reveal to open a video, so instead I'll bring back the funk as a way to spice it up. The original core set was made using a softer plastic, and the molding isn't the greatest. There's some pretty heavy lines on some of these models. So depending on the quality of model that you want to paint, it may take you a little bit longer to scrape these lines than some of the other ones that we painted in the past. Either way, scrape it clean to your liking, and then it will be ready to prime. Now, if you're watching this video on release date, the 15th of March, it's my good friend Jay's birthday. He said a shout out wasn't necessary, so of course we're going to give him one anyways. Shout him out in the comments below. Happy birthday, Jay. After cleaning the torso and face, repeat the process with the arms and lightsaber. Careful with the lightsaber as it's thin. Now, I've recently come across a new way to attach the models for painting and priming. I take this little strip of 3M double-sided tape and I attach it to my cork and then place the model on it. Now, I didn't come up with this idea. I actually got it off of a fellow YouTube channel, Ninjan in particular. Now, he has about 1,000 times more subscribers than I do, so he doesn't need my shout out, but here it is anyways. This was a game changer. The models attach super easy, it holds them strong, and it doesn't wreck the paint when you try and pull them off later. Shout out to Ninja. I prime the models using my favorite primer. It's a Rust-Oleum 2x matte white. I love this primer. I've never had it go on chalky and would highly recommend it. Now be sure to keep your distance and do nice light even coats, and you'll get a nice quality finish like this. Starting out, we're going to coat the whole model in Rakarth Flesh. Thin down your paint and don't be afraid to be liberal here. We're coating the entire torso and legs. Next, I'm going to use some basic flesh tone to start penciling in his neck and face. While working on the main model, don't forget the little subsection that we have. Paint the hands and the arms using the two colors that we just used. Speaking of not forgetting, while you're here, if you're not subscribed to the channel already, click the little red button down below. Once all that's dry, we're going to give the face a wash, and for this, we're going to use Right Wing Flesh Shade. Once you've applied the wash, remember to wick it away from the areas that it pools up unnaturally. Do the same with the hands when you're done. Now, I'm going to go back with that basic flesh tone and highlight the face back up. Start with the high areas such as the bridge of the nose, the nostrils, the cheekbones, and the jawbone. Once you're satisfied with your main highlight, mix just a touch of white into the paint and go back over and highlight even less areas, really focusing on the high spots, the bridge of the nose, the lips, and the cheekbones. Now it's time for the eyes. We're going to make this quick and easy. Take some white paint, water it down slightly, and dab it into the recessed area where the eyes are. Don't worry about overfilling a little bit, we're going to clean that up after. Next, thin down your black and pick your brush with the best point you have. You're going to very lightly and gently just barely touch the eye in a little downward motion, trying to transfer as little paint as possible. You'll see here on the right eye, I mess up a little bit. I do a better job on the left eye by thinning it down just a little bit more. You can see how much cleaner it turns out. Now don't be afraid, like I am, to go back, paint the other eye white again, and try a second time. As long as you use thin coats, you can come out with a nice final product. Once you're done and you're happy with the way they look, take your flesh tone and frame in the eyes to make them smaller and a little more lifelike. You don't want big googly eyes after all. Don't forget to frame in the top side of the eyes too, underneath the eyebrows. Keep that in mind as I will be forgetting to paint the eyebrows later in this video. Next, we're going to paint the hair, and for this, I start with a base coat of Zandri dust. Make sure you paint all of the hair, including the facial hair, such as eyebrows. Take care around the border of the face not to mess up that nice flesh tone shading you already have. If you accidentally overrun, just go back with the flesh tone and frame it in once again. Now, I take the Zandri dust and mix in a little bit of that Ratkarth flesh since we've already got it on the palette, and I'll use that to make the highlights on the hair. Paint the very top ridges of all of the texture. Take your time here and make sure your paint isn't too runny because you don't want it to fall into the recesses of the hair. Here you can see that gives a nice textured effect on the hair. I would also recommend putting eyebrows in here. Once satisfied with the head, we're going to wash the entire body in Egrex Earthshade. Cover the entire model and then begin to wick away the areas that recess unnaturally, just as we have before. Then, don't forget to do the same to his arms. Now, we're going to start detailing in the belt using German black brown. Paint the belt and ensure that you get all of the little pouches along with the holster around his blaster. While painting the holster, don't forget the little strap that runs around his leg. Now, we're going to take the base color that we used for the entire body, Rakarth Flesh, and we're going to be highlighting the raised areas. Pick the spots of the fabric that are nice big folds that you would see the light naturally bounce off of. Any sharp edge you see, I try and put a little highlight on it. This is a time where you go slow and steady, and it'll really pay off in the end. You can see now how the wash with the highlights gives it a nice textured effect. Next, we're going to mix chocolate brown with Rakarth Flesh and highlight all the little satchels and belt options. Now, to add a little bit of detailing, I'm going to take some lead belcher and paint all the little buttons and clips on there silver. Make a side note during all of this detailing, in addition to painting on the eyebrows that I forgot, you can paint the blaster black since I also failed to do that. At this point, I also take lead belcher and place it onto the hilt of the lightsaber. Now, because I'm focused on all of the details except for the eyebrows and gun, of course, I'm also going to be adding black to the little strips on the lightsaber. Nobody will really notice this, but you will. After everything has had ample time to dry, let's glue the entire model together. Now it's time to paint the lightsaber, and for this I use a mixture of blue and white just to create a baby blue that I enjoy or is pleasing to the eye. I start by base coating the entire blade of the saber this color. Next, I mix a little bit of white in it to lighten it up, and I will paint the bottom half of the saber itself. It's giving the effect that the blade is a little bit hotter more towards the base. Blend that paint up the blade about halfway. Now put even more white in, and we're going to paint the very bottom of the blade, where it would be the hottest in a sense. While doing this, you want to make sure that all of your paints maintain a nice wet consistency. If you let them dry out too much, you'll see visible starts and stops between the colors. You want to wet blend everything together here. And with that, our Luke Skywalker is done. All that's left is to add a little bit of details that I mentioned earlier and a base. If you need basing ideas, check out the video above. So there you have it, guys. You now have an official commander to lead your rebel army. I'm going to be slowly chipping away at the core set and making videos along the way. I'll make sure to group all of them in a playlist together. So subscribe so that way you don't miss any updates. The next couple videos I'll be focusing on some of the newer units. We've got the specialist packs coming out along with Lando and Callus, so look forward to those videos coming up. For sure I'll have one by the 30th of the month. If you want to support the channel, spread the word, tell a friend, like and subscribe. Also, if you'd really like to support me, go to my Patreon, link down in the description below. Become a patron and gain behind the scenes access, also PDF downloads of all the paint palettes that I use on this video and my previous videos, and you can get access to our exclusive Discord. In my Discord, we can share pictures of what you're working on along with my latest projects. My good friend Tim Jansen from the Netherlands is already participating. If you want to join us, once again, links down below. Either way, I appreciate all the support and thanks for watching. Until next time, keep on creating.